This is Chris Wenker. I'm a GIS epidemiologist at the New Mexico Department of Health. This is a training video for the IBIS community of practice. I will demonstrate how to use QGIS to modify the attribute table of a shapefile as part of the process of creating a GeoJSON map layer. Virtually any shapefile that comes from a national or regional clearinghouse will be delivered with a lot of data fields that we don't need for IBIS. These prepackaged shapefiles are also missing the specific fields that we will need to link to IBIS-hosted data sets. So we need to make some edits before it can be used in IBIS. For this demonstration, we'll assume that our workflow will use QGIS to modify a shapefile before exporting it to create a GeoJSON. That means in this workflow, we'll do all the preparation work up front. In a different video, we see that even after it's exported, there is actually a way to edit a GeoJSON with QGIS. But in this video, we'll just stick with modifying the original shapefile in QGIS before the export. Let's use an example where we want to make a GeoJSON that will be used specifically as a choropleth map layer. As we saw in a previous video, choropleth layers only require two fields, GeoID and title, and that's what we want to export in the GeoJSON. So here's a raw census shapefile that was downloaded and its attribute table. To start working on the file in QGIS, we use the Table Manager. This tool shows us the field parameters as well as a table preview. Let's explore two different ways of creating the new fields that we want. Let's say that we want a GeoID field in integer format. We go to Insert and enter the new field parameters. The field name is case sensitive, integer, and we'll save the new format. Now we can close the Table Manager and open the attribute table. We'll populate our new field out of the contents of another field. So for GeoID, we'll use this county FP field, which contains a national FIPS code that's unique for each county in the state. FIPS codes are pretty standard and they're commonly used in other data sets as well. It's important to point out that whatever values are in GeoID must also match exactly the values in the IBIS query dimensions, and vice versa. Now, to populate this field, we do want to switch over to edit mode, and we'll use the field calculator, which can be opened here or here. And we want to update an existing field, GeoID. Although notice, we could flat out create a new field with this tool as well. So the values we want to update GeoID are in county FP. And we see that the GeoID field has been populated with integers out of the county FP field. Toggle off the editing mode and save our changes. Now let's look at another way to create the other new field that we need. Back in Table Manager, we know that the values in name are those that we want to use in our title field. In QGIS, it's a very easy process to just rename a field. Field name is also case sensitive. We save that change, and we have our new field. Now once this is done, we could export this shapefile as a GeoJSON for the choropleth layer, and it would work perfectly well in Leaflet. But with these other original census fields, the GeoJSON will be unnecessarily large, and that'll slow down its performance. So we're going to delete these unneeded fields. Here in the Table Manager, we simply delete those. And eventually we arrive at a shapefile with just the two essential GeoID and title fields. Now this shapefile is ready to export out of QGIS as a GeoJSON. but that's a process that we've demonstrated in other instruction videos, which you can refer to. Now, for other types of layers, such as display layers and label layers, we can use these same techniques to edit the attribute table and add or delete fields that we want to have available in the final GeoJSON export. It's best to have the table configured exactly in the format that you want to see it in the GeoJSON, because that saves any later steps of having to go in and modify the GeoJSON itself. Now that the attribute tables are properly structured, other upcoming videos will demonstrate the ways to reduce GeoJSON file size to improve web performance. We'll also demonstrate how to edit an existing GeoJSON in QGIS. We hope that this introductory video about IBIS mapping has been instructive. Please check out the other videos in the IBIS Community of Practice YouTube channel.